Okay, this is Simcha Gluck. Welcome back to Innovation Nation here at Voice of Israel. And I'm just so excited. I have a friend of mine and just someone really special who lives with me in Jerusalem in the area over here. Jason Weiss is he's the principal of Access Innovation, and he's basically in charge of their deal flow and creating just really cool conferences, events, and mentorship for investors and startups. And I want to give him a chance to say hello and share the awesome work that he does. So, Jason, welcome. How you doing?
Great. Thanks, Simcha.
Definitely. Thanks for being here today.
Absolutely.
So can you share with us, what is Access Innovation? Obviously, we want to get a sense of who you are too, but let's start with, what is Access Innovation? What do they do? What do you do with them? Fill us in.
Sure. So I'll give you the whole background. This is Innovation Nation. There's a lot going on in the startup world.
Yes.
And what we do is very unique. We're working to connect startups with international investors. We do this in three main ways. First way is we take early stage companies looking for their first round of funding. Once they're ready to scale up, go global, take on the world, we help introduce them, mentor them, and helping them to get to that level.
Are these all startups based here in Israel?
First, it's startups in Israel. That's what we were doing originally.
Okay.
We saw there's big demand in other places in the world. So we built partnerships, and we're working in about 6 different countries globally,
Awesome.
in Europe, in Asia, and in Canada. So we're really seeing what's happening in the global startup ecosystem.
Okay,
Which is
got
one of my favorite things, because we're based here in Israel, the startup nation, more startups here than anywhere else in the world.
Sure.
Per capita, you know that.
Yeah.
But there's startups everywhere, and there's amazing ideas everywhere. So traveling around, I'm going to France tomorrow to work with French startups for our next event in Paris.
That's so
Going to
cool.
see what's on the cutting edge in France.
Okay.
So when I come back to Israel and I meet startups here, I have that perspective. And when I meet with investors, I have that perspective. That's something really cool that we like to have at our company, is that international feel.
Excellent. Now, I cut you off before, but you were saying number one is companies in early on stages and they're ready to go. And then there were 2 more things that you wanted to mention also, and I just sort of cut in there. So I want to give you the space to finish it up.
So the second thing is we're working directly with investors and corporations on innovation scouting and deal flow scouting. So working with corporations who want to get into the startup nation, they hear a lot about Israel. They want to know what's going on. They want to be on that cutting edge, which is what's happening here in Israel.
Yeah.
We'll work with them directly, one-on-one, helping them find companies, technology, innovation that suits them.
Excellent.
At the same time, we brought dozens of investors for the first time to Israel. So we're taking people from countries like Singapore, India, Korea, Russia, even some investors from the United States and Europe, bringing them out here for the first time to Israel.
What a
So
cool
that's something
experience.
we're very proud about and we like a lot.
Okay.
The third thing, how we wrap all these activities up, is in really awesome conferences. Now, there's a lot of conferences that go on in Israel.
Yes, there are.
A lot of startup conferences in the world. So we try and do something unique with our conferences.
Okay.
First of all, they're very small. It's about 150 to 200 people at our conferences, and most of those people are startups or investors. The whole point of our conferences is to be really focused networking for deal flow.
Okay. Got
At
it.
our last conference, we had Access Tel Aviv in March. It's our annual conference, our highlight of the year. We saw almost 200 companies, 200 startups that applied, and we took 30 as presenting companies.
Wow.
So we saw a ton of companies, and we picked just a few that we could handle for that event. We coached each startup, we mentored them, we advised them on their investment strategy, as well as their investor pitch. Then we brought over 100 investors from over 22 countries to meet with those startups. We had startup pitches, investor pitches, one-on-one meetings, and then we do follow-up. For us, it's not just about a great conference, but it's what happens after the conference.
Sure, exactly.
So we're working with those startups and those investors today. We're introducing those startups to new investors. We're working with those investors to bring them new startups. And our goal is really to help make everything here happen faster, be more exciting, help get more deals closed, help companies get to that next level so they can really grow, they can scale, they
What
can
a
take
cool
on the
thing.
world.
What's it like being able to really just be part of the crew of talent scouts that get to just travel everywhere, meeting the investors, meeting the startups, and just being able to essentially collect and then connect all these great dots?
It's amazing. It's an incredible experience. As you know, the startup world is one of the most dynamic, exciting places I think you can possibly be in, because it's always changing.
Yeah,
Technology is
exactly.
always changing, and
Exactly.
you're on the cutting edge. So you're meeting people, whether it's a serial entrepreneur who's had multiple exits with his next idea, or it could be 3 young guys just out of the army. and they had something they're going to do that they want to change the world.
Well, let's just get a sense. Who are you that wound up, coming over here from the U.S., making Aliyah, coming over here, now being one of the key people as part of Access Innovation, and in addition to a bunch of other great projects that you work on too. What's your background? How do you get into this?
Sure. So like you said, I came from America, and I made Aliyah, originally from California.
Okay.
After I graduated from university, I decided I wanted to come to Israel. Planned to be here just for 1 year, as it happens to a lot of people. Ended up staying, got married, and been living and working here ever since.
Okay.
And when I first got here, I was truly amazed by the innovation of Israel. I had always thought of Israel through Hasbara, through Israel advocacy, through the political side. That was really what I connected with in college, and I knew nothing about innovation. So when I came here, I started working with people that were entrepreneurs, met companies, read the book Startup Nation, which was also a big thing for me. And I saw that Israel is doing so much more than I ever expected. And this is one of the most exciting sides of Israel, and most people don't even know about it.
Interesting.
And I just got myself engulfed in this scene, started networking, started meeting people, and got connected with the right people, and have been doing this ever since.
I love it. One of the things which is interesting is just sort of, for me, a basic difference is I do a lot of traveling with the training and traveling that I do in general, just like you do some traveling as well. And I feel like when I go to the U.S., it's such a massive country. I almost feel very small, and I feel like it's almost challenging to amplify myself, to really connect or to give off a message. I do, and it's cool. But what's exciting is the feeling about Israel is that it's small enough that you can pretty much reach anybody. You can call them on their cell phone number, because here we do that. We give out our cell phone numbers. It's not like you have to call an office and dial extension 613-7422. Someone by their first name or by their nickname. You could just reach out. And I feel like I like how accessible things are here in Israel, how you can really make a name for yourself. You can really carve it out. There's a lot that happens here, but it feels like it's small enough where you can actually make a difference. So I like that you really wanted to be a part of the world, and bottom line, you became a part of the world, and it's very cool.
Absolutely. I would echo that feeling you said about the tech scene and the business world here in Israel. It's very small. It's very accessible. And those sort of opportunities I don't think exist in America, where you can really climb up. And I also think that it's based more on your merits, what you accomplished, and how well you work and how productive you are, than working up a corporate ladder. There's much less of that structure here in Israel. There's a lot of reasons for it, of course.
Sure.
But in reality, people can jump right in. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can jump right into the scene. You can meet with the investors. You can meet with us. You can meet with accelerators. You can meet with anyone in this ecosystem, almost just off a phone call without any background, and you can get yourself started. And I think that's one of the things that really makes Israel such an exciting place to be.
Sure. What would you say would be, let's say, your top 2 or 3 tips for entrepreneurs that are looking to really get started or looking to get things going, just based on all the mentorship and coaching and meeting of startups around the world that you do?
Sure. So the first thing I would say is keep up the chutzpah. People need to just keep knocking on doors. There's enough people here in Israel. You go to the right people, come to a company, come to us like Access Innovation, go to your lawyers, go to your accountants, go meet with investors. People are here and they want to help you. You got to keep knocking on the right doors and keep going. And the second piece of advice, I guess, just as a follow-up to that, is find the right teammates. It's the most important thing.
Yes,
is
it
the
is.
team. When you're building a company, you got to have the right people behind you that believe in you, believe in your mission. You got to have the investors that believe in you. You got to have your service providers that believe in you. But first of all, you got to have your team. And that's the most important thing we look for, too, when we evaluate a company. Who are these people? How strong is their team? And with the right people, you can do anything.
Excellent. Now, what would you say is next for Access Innovation? What are you most excited about, or what would be, let's say, the greatest home run that you, Jason Weiss, can hit with Access Innovation? What does that look like?
There's a lot of big plans we have. We have a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. First, we're going to continue with our events. We have our next event in France in a month, June 15th, 16th, for French startups.
Wait, so you're leaving tomorrow, which, by the way, thanks for joining me the day before you leave, and you leave your family to go to France. So
just for 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what's happening in France right now? What's happening next month, you said?
Sure. So we're organizing one of our innovation events in France. On the ground, we're working with the local partners, the top ecosystem players in Paris, for 20 French startups and international investors. Same style event as I described here. After that, we're back to Israel. We're working a lot here. We have a few potential big partnerships for events in place with corporations. We're going to Ottawa, Canada, in October, working with Canadian startups. And that's what we have in the next 6 months. And I'll say that putting that all together, we're really focused on Israel as our core. So I really want to see more investors coming here, more deals, more startups, and just meeting great people and seeing what we can do together.
Excellent. Excellent. That sounds really good. We're going to be wrapping up in about 2 minutes. Just give me for you, what would you say is, let's say, your top highlight from all the companies, or what are your favorite companies or your favorite investors that you've had a chance to meet along your way?
It's a great question because we've met a lot of people. I've met probably at least 500 startups here in Israel, several hundred abroad. And it's always exciting to meet a new entrepreneur and see their passion and their hunger. And I'll just give you one example of a company that we worked with very early, came to us, we helped them with their business plan, get their idea going. Young guy, right out of the army, got his partners together. Then after that, we introduced them to several investors and helped them get their first seed round, which is earlier than we normally do, but their first seed round, been to their office, they're really building things up. And that's one of the most rewarding and exciting things for us, is being able to help those companies get their company up.
I love it.
Go with their dreams and
that's
see
like
what we can do.
That's the famous thought, right? It's cool to be on the stage, but it's even cooler to see sort of your kids or your people being up on the stage instead. Jason Weiss, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Jason from Axis Innovation.